let's have a second discussion quickly on the issue of rights. Of course, we already told you at the top of the program that today is World Human Rights Day. Of course, there's no better time, unofficially or officially, to have the discussion. Comrade Curtis Ogbebo is coordinator of Freedom Ambassadors Organization and interim coordinator general of Edo Civil Society Organizations, that is Edo School. Curtis, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, my viewers.
I want us to start from this point. Okay. We are told that this year the theme for World Human Rights Day is recover better, stand up for human rights. Yes. Of course, this is the first time in decades that we'll be talking about human rights like this within a pandemic, especially this one that has a global impact. What's the difference between this year and the years before it?
Yes, the difference, as you have seen, just said in the theme, recover better. It has never been part of the human rights team, but the breakout of the COVID-19 necessitated that recover better, as it were, to kind of encourage the people of the world to recover from the negative effects of the COVID-19. 2020 has been a very, very turbulent and disturbing year. But we give thanks to God that majority of us were able to make it. So the United Nations is through this medium trying to encourage the nations that are bedeviled with this pandemic to recover better, and in recovering better, also telling the world that they should also stand up for human rights. And away from there, I also want to specifically wish Nigerians a better recovering from the pandemic, the COVID-19, and also say that Nigerians will also need to recover from the negative effects of bad government and bad governance. And specifically, I also wish Nigeria to recover from the negative effects of the aftermath of NSAS protests. And Edo people as well, I wish every one of you a better recovering from the negative effects of COVID-19, the negative effects of the aftermath of NSAS protests, and to stand up to defend human rights.
You know, I took a look at the summary of what the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights aims to achieve, especially with this year's theme saying, look, we have to recover better, but we must first stand up for human rights. So I look at the features, and then I just oppose them with the reality that we see in society. The disparity is like the difference between day and night. And then somewhere in your head, you're asking yourself, is there any point at which we can accomplish at least half of these things outlined here?
Yes, as we progress, the world is evolving. As we progress, we'll continue to strive to ensure we strike a balance in the society, and we'll continue to sensitize the citizens on the need for them to know their fundamental right, because it's because of the level of ignorance in the society. That is why you see we have not been able to accomplish much, as you have said. And the people do not give attention to issues that borders on human rights. Any issues that is not politically motivated, is not financially rewarding, that citizens do not give attention to it.
And that's a problem.
That is a problem. The World Human Rights Day is celebrated every 10th every year. It remarked the day the United Nations make a universal declaration on human rights. So it tends to celebrate, to promote the rights and freedom of citizens around the world. So that is the essence. Not just to celebrate alone, to promote the right and freedom. So when we continue to celebrate, we continue to use this medium to send a message to the citizens, to the government and all authorities on need for citizens to stand to defend their human rights, and for authorities to also respect human rights. It is very, very important.
On account of that point you just made, I want to take us to our second topic, everyone, which focuses on the challenge of insecurity, or if you like, security, depending on perspective, in Nigeria. We understand that if everything had gone as planned, the president today, 10th of December, would have been addressing a joint session of the National Assembly, where some persons have said there was a possibility that the president would have had a very, very interesting and rewarding interaction with members of parliament. But as it stands right now, we know better. The president is not coming for that engagement, because the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami SAN, has said that the National Assembly, in particular the House of Representatives, doesn't have the powers to quote and unquote summon the president on issues that border on security, because he says that the exclusivity of a security operation in this country rests solely with the president. I mean, we talk about insecurity in Nigeria, for example. You see quite a number of videos, and you see how people's rights are violated, for instance. And even the soldiers, we have seen videos coming out from members of the armed forces, all right, alleging maltreatment by authorities, not being well catered to, their welfare not being made a priority. That's on the one hand. And then you have people across this country, particularly in the northeast, saying, look, our rights have been trampled upon again and again and again in the middle of this insecurity challenge that we're dealing with. This is a very a demanding task we're dealing with here, isn't it? Yes.
Starting from the like you said, the summon of the president to appear before the NAS, National Assembly. Yes, if you talk about summon, I don't think the National Assembly have the powers to summon the president.
But they say it was an invitation.
Yes, that is where I'm going to. Okay. Because there is a difference between summon and invitation.
Was he summoned or was he invited? Because
he was invited. And okay. The NAS have the power, the constitutional right, to invite the president on any issue, to give a briefing on any issue that borders the national interests. So section 67 clearly states that the president may attend a joint sitting of the National Assembly, or either when there are issues that borders on the interests of this nation. So for the NAS to have invited the president to appear before the joint sitting, to brief them and brief the nation on the state of the nation, is not out of place. Okay. If they do not have the constitutional power to do so, I don't think that session would have clearly stated that the president may, the word may is a very big clause, which is discretional, that upon invitation, though there is not that section, I'm not read in any other section that says that that give the NAS the power to compel the president to attend. But because they have the constitutional powers to invite authorities, being the president or minister of the president or an appointee of the president, to appear before the National Assembly. That is why that section is clearly stated that the president may appear. That is giving it a clause, a very big clause, that he can use his discretion
to decide whether he wants to appear or not.
And when he fails to appear, the NAS do not also have the powers to query the president for not honoring the invitation. The next thing that they need to do, if the NAS is serious, as it were, sections also, there are other sections that also provide for impeachment processes. The section 143, 144 of the Constitution provides for the process of impeaching the president when he fails to deliver the constitutional duties.
So I'm going to talk to you about something else now before I let you off, which is the fact that as we speak on this program now, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami SAN, is under fire, even from senior lawyers like himself, saying, look, your position on this matter is inappropriate, to put it mildly, all right? But again, what that says to many of us is, we have not seen the end of this matter. What are the implications you're looking at in 1 minute?
Yes, to me, it doesn't have much implications, because before now, the NAS, who is the legislative arm of government, who have the powers to make laws, checkmate those laws when they are being executed, have for long kind of subject or sandwich their moral will or their constitutional power to the apron string of the executive arm of government. That is why they can do nothing or little about this executive rascality from the presidency to the local government level. As it were, the president, on giving such an invitation, and he fails to appear before the NAS, they have the right if it is important, if it's an issue that borders on the interest of the nation, that is very paramount, they have the right to proceed with the impeachment processes. But like you have just said, yes, the reason why the AGF came on to quickly defend or to say they don't have the constitutional power, it is clear that the president cannot come before the NAS to address the NAS and the citizens, because the NAS, as it were, it's a representative of the Nigeria in general. Speaking to the addressing the NAS is an address on the entire nation, because at the NAS level, the entire Nigerians are being represented. So before now, we have never seen the president engaging the citizens in any fora. So on that reasons, you have the constitutional the power to the duty as the AGF to defend the executive or the president that gave him an appointment, because I personally believe that the president do not want to or cannot interact or stand the stress of the NAS. If not, what's so special about the president
addressing
the nation on the
okay,
it happens everywhere in the world. Why is it shying away from such a responsibility?
We are going to keep following this development, definitely, because this is something that has to do with protection of lives and property, and the president, of course, is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in this country. Curtis Ogbebo, thank you for coming
very
on
much
on
for
the
having
program.
me.